Marketing with the Akron Summit County Visitors and Convention Bureau. And also with us is Samson Dubina. And Samson is the #1 ranked table tennis player in Ohio. He has a table tennis academy, and they are hosting a tournament right here in the Akron area coming up next weekend. But Jim, let's bring you in first and talk about what we got going with this tournament, Jim.
Well, we're very excited, Bray. Thanks so much for having us this morning. Samson, what an amazing local treasure that we have here. Ohio's top-ranked player right here, living in Akron, and doing great things as far as teaching the sport and bringing events to the area, which obviously we have particular interest in. So we have been working with Samson, lending our complimentary services, planning services, through the kind of newly formed Reimagined Sports Alliance of Greater Akron. And so Samson his event is one of many that we're working with to bring into the area. As we've talked so many times before, when visitors come into the area, they're spending money on accommodations, on dining, on entertainment. So it's new visitor dollars into the economy, and that comes by way of many, many different things, be it traditional meetings and conventions, and what is, again, of particular interest to us are sporting events.
And Jim, it helps put Akron on the map globally, and little by little you're able to continue to grow the Akron brand.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
With us is Samson Dubina as well. Samson is the #1 ranked table tennis player in Ohio. One of the top table tennis players, by the way, in the world. He's got his academy in the tournament. So, Samson, come on in here and talk a little bit about what we got going next week.
All right, thanks for having me on. We definitely have an exciting event happening here next week. It's May 6th and 7th. It's at the Shaw JCC on White Pond, and it's a tournament that's open to all players. We've got some professional players flying in for our tournament, but it's even open to the recreational players here in Akron that might want to compete. So it's open to all ages and all levels, and we're still accepting entries. So we're trying to build this event as big as we can.
How many table tennis players do you imagine coming on in for this big tournament next week then, Samson?
So we're limited to the first 100. Right now we already have 74 people signed up, which is quite good, about 10 days here, or 12 days before our tournament. But yeah, we're still accepting more, and spectators can come watch for free as well. So anybody that wants to just come watch can come watch. Free admission, free parking for spectators. So we're hoping to have a good crowd of Akron, just fans that would come out and watch, because we have a lot of the top players from the U.S. and Canada flying in for our event.
Yeah, this will be, by the way, at the Shaw Jewish Community Center coming up next weekend on Friday and Saturday, so it's going to be really thrilling. Samson, let me ask you this. How big is the sport of table tennis, whether it be right here in Ohio, across the country, and globally?
Well, globally, it just passed up soccer as the #1 participation sport in the world, with 30 million tournament players. So around the world, it's huge. But in the U.S. here, it's growing, and particularly here in the Akron area, it's growing as well. So we've just started a program for kids, adults. We've got a weekly league going. So it's really picking up here in the Akron area, and I'm hoping that this tournament can keep our momentum going.
Jim, through Samson's leadership, this could be the beginning of something real big when you talk about global participation, national participation, and Samson right here in Akron.
Absolutely. That's why he is in our books, a rising star as far as really leveraging the local assets that we have. And Samson is among several people who are doing things to certainly leverage our community and the venues and activities that we have that kind of complement anybody coming in to visit the area. So we are so eager to continue working with Samson to, as he suggested, continue the momentum or even increase the momentum. And, it puts us in a great position to grow the events, to add events, and I think he knows we are by his side in doing whatever we can, to create additional awareness. And the spectator and kind of amateur participation that's available weekend after next is fun. Samson was sharing that you need to be able to know how to pick up a paddle and hit a ball, but it really invites kind of these armchair players to come out and kind of show people what they got.
With us, Jim Mahone, Vice President of Marketing with the Akron Summit Convention and Visitors Bureau, and also Samson Dubina. Samson, the #1 ranked table tennis player in Ohio, and of course in the world. He is nationally ranked. As a matter of fact, Samson has not lost a tournament in the state or the country since the age of 17. He has trained with a Canadian Olympic table tennis team, knows his stuff. Samson, let me ask you this. Sandpaper or rubber when you use your paddle?
Yeah, it's actually rubber. Sandpaper was really back in the day, 40, 50, 60 years ago. So the modern equipment is quite fast. So it really catapults the ball out as opposed to sandpaper just kind of pinging the ball back.
Let me ask you this. In putting in a tournament like this, Samson, obviously you have to get, tournament-ready table tennis tables. How big of a venture is that?
So our event that we're hosting this year, we actually have all the tables there. Like we mentioned before, it's at the Shaw JCC here in Akron, and so that's where our main club actually is hosted twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. People can come out and try it. But we already have all the tables actually there, and so yeah, we're going to be all set up and ready to go right after our Thursday night league.
Sounds fun. Now, let me ask you this. How did you get involved in this sport at a real young teenage age?
Well, my family, all of them were athletes, but they never suspected that I'd take table tennis as my main sport. I just developed a passion for it as a kid. I got a flyer in the mail from a local church inviting me to go play. Then I picked it up. I got a coach, and I started playing tournaments. I started at age 12, which is a little bit late. At age 21, I went to Canada to play professional for 3 years, and now I've been doing coaching and promoting and other things for the last 8 years here. So it's just been a very good passion for me. I enjoy the sport. It's exciting, but it's also quite tactical. The ball can spin up to 8,000 RPMs. So just to be able to read what spin is on the ball, how much spin is on the ball, and to be able to counter it, it takes quite a lot of thought as well as a lot of training, a lot of coaching to develop the skills.
I've always said that it is a great sport to improve, obviously, the hand-eye coordination. And I played a lot of table tennis when I was younger. Certainly not at the quality that you have played, but a friend of mine, we used to get together once a week, pull out a table, and literally, Samson, we would be dripping sweat by the time we were done with it. And a lot of people don't understand, the exhilaration that goes into a good table tennis match.
Yeah. No, it is actually, especially when you start getting to the higher level, it's pretty intense.
No doubt about it. Okay.
We're definitely expecting you to be at our tournament next week.
You know what?
Hold you a spot.
I was thinking I might try to come on down and let you beat the pants off me a couple of times. That might be kind of fun.
And actually, in the lower division, we're accepting entries even up to the day of the tournament. OhioPingPong.com is where people register. And so, if anybody wants to just come out and try it, they can. If you want to enter the higher events, you got to register ahead of time. But if you want to enter the recreational event, you can come out on the day of the tournament. As long as you're there by 1 o'clock, you can play. So we're definitely holding you a spot in our tournament.
Now, the tournament registration, you can register until what, Friday for the tournament next week in Samson. How do folks go about registering if they'd like to?
Okay, so they go to OhioPingPong.com. As soon as you go to the website, you'll see something that says Akron Tournament. Just click that. And then you can either mail in your registration or you can pay online or register online. So whichever you want. And then, like I said, on the recreational events, as long as you're there by 1 o'clock on the tournament day, you can get in. The recreational event is Saturday, May 7th at 5 p.m. So as long as you're there by 1 o'clock, we accept walk-ins as well.
And Jim, you were mentioning this is one of the forerunners and the reorganization of the Sports Alliance in Akron, and this is one of the things that you hope to do more of in the future.
Absolutely. We obviously have viewed sporting events as an important market segment for us, and we've been recruiting and securing events for many, many years, but we wanted to accelerate that, and we promoted Brittany Wigman woman on our staff, and she is doing it full time. Kind of restructured, created a kind of a new brand, Sports Alliance of Greater Akron. We have a great new website. It's called playakron.com that talks about all of the venues and all of the sporting events that we can host. And we're excited. We want to put the proverbial pedal to the metal in 16 and really ramp up what we're doing.
Well, certainly in sports in the Akron area, there is a lot to offer, from table tennis to biking, and we could go on and on. Jim and Samson, thanks for joining us this morning. Really intrigued when I saw the story, and I think this is terrific to have this right here in Akron. And Samson, I agree with what Jim said. It's terrific that you've made your home here and teaching table tennis and maybe bringing more and more championship caliber tournaments to the Akron area. Guys, thanks for joining me this morning. I appreciate you making time for us.
Thank you, Ray.
Thanks a lot.
There you go. Samson Dubina, the number 1 ranked table tennis player in Ohio and nationally ranked, and also Jim Mahone, Vice President of Marketing with the Akron Summit Convention and Visitors Bureau. 5 minutes in front of 8 o'clock at 7:55 at 1590 WAKR. Little chilly out there.